Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Tolu, and on this channel I share content all around personal finance, budgeting, frugal living, and I show you how to live your best life on a budget. So if you're new around here, thank you so much for stopping by, and if you're a returning subscriber, thanks for coming back to watch another video. So in today's video, what I'm going to be bringing you is episode number 2 of Tea Money Talks. So in episode number 2, I had a talk with Selina from Black Girl Finance UK. She's the founder of the company, and we spoke all about the subject of money scripts. So the following footage that you'll see after this is going to be episode number 2 of Tea Money Talks. It was a really good conversation, and I took a lot away from it, and I'm sure you guys are going to get so much from it too. So grab yourself a pen and paper, a cup of tea and some snacks, and stay tuned for a fantastic conversation about money. So if you're yet to subscribe to my channel, please subscribe to my channel, give this video a big thumbs up, and without further ado, I'm going to get into episode number 2 of Tea Money Talks for you right now. Okay, perfect. So I'll kick off and start, and then everyone that joins can just join us. Hi everyone, welcome to episode number 2 of Tea Money Talks. I'm your host Tolu, aka Tea Money, and on this live series what we do is we talk about all the money topics, the taboo subjects about money, which we don't regularly discuss, even though we all have to navigate and manage. So on this live series, I'll be having those conversations with a special guest every single week. We'll be talking about a different money topic. So everything from budgeting to getting out of debt, to living beyond your means or living below your means even, to faith and finances, marriage and money. Literally, no money topic will be off limits. So with that being said, today's episode number 2, is all about money scripts. So I actually did a post on my Instagram stories, and I was asking if anyone knew what money scripts were, and I was surprised that everyone literally said no, like all the respondents said no. In fact, I wasn't actually that surprised because I didn't know what they were either until I came across it through Selina from Black Girl Finance, who's actually the guest that's going to be joining us today. So in terms of Selina, I basically met her, I actually met Selina at an event, in February that she did, called Black Girl Finance UK, Let's Talk About Money. And it was a fantastic event where we talked about all things money. Everyone, like literally in the room, was talking about their financial situations, and it was just literally a safe space to talk about money. And it was just such an amazing workshop that she put on. Like I came away from that meeting so encouraged, and I made such meaningful connections with other like-minded women. So it's just it's an amazing work what Selina's currently doing. So I'm so excited to have her as my guest today. I hope Selina's actually joined us. I'm not sure. I haven't looked at the screen to see if she's come in yet. If you are here, Selina, wave and say hi. Oh, there we go. Yes. She should be joining us any moment now.
I'm here, hun. Hiya.
Hi, Selina. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, no problem. I'm so excited.
Yay, me too. I'm so excited to be talking with you. Okay, so I've done a brief introduction, obviously, but for those that don't know who you are, tell them a little bit about yourself and about Black Girl Finance and about what it is that you do.
Yeah, so like Tolly said, I am Selina Flavius. I am the founder of a financial coaching company called Black Girl Finance, and it's all about empowering women, Black women in particular, some women within the community, to get really clear on financial goals, to set them, to understand how we can meet those goals, what steps we need to take, and just to, it's about holding each other accountable, essentially. If you are a goal getter and striving and achieving your financial goals, then we want to know how, we want to talk about it. And if you're struggling, then we want to support you through any struggles that you might have. So so Black Girl Finance, financial coaching for women, basically.
And it's an amazing company that you have there, Selina. Like, even in the short space of time that I've known you and I've been following your account and following all the work you do, I've learned so much from you, like literally, especially your new podcast, absolutely amazing. So if you haven't checked out the Black Girl Finance UK podcast, guys, definitely check it out because there's so many nuggets on there and so many gems on there. But in terms of icebreakers, so that we can get comfortable, because I don't know about you, but I'm still a bit nervous right now. I don't know if you can tell by my voice, but let's do a few icebreaker questions so that people can get to know you a little bit.
Yeah, sure. Far away.
So, first question. Are you a morning person or a night person?
Oh, my goodness. I think I'm a morning person, although I've been convincing myself I'm a night person because I've been working on loads of content. So I'm like, you know, I stay up late and work. But sometimes I just end up procrastinating. So I'd say morning person. I think I get the most work done first thing.
Oh, good. Yeah,
How
that's
about
what I'm
you?
trying to become. So this week I've started this new thing. I'm telling myself I'm a morning person, so I'm getting up early every day. So far the past 3 days I've been up at 5 a.m. So hopefully it can
Good.
continue because
That is
yeah,
good.
so much that needs to be done and not enough time during the day, especially with the kids. So I'm like, no, I need to get up early and get the work done. So yeah,
Oh yeah,
I'm quite
yeah.
to like you.
She
And
is
then,
doing a fab job, Nels, by Met. She's doing an amazing job. I love Polly.
oh, thank you, Meta. Thanks for your encouraging words. Are you a saver or a spender?
Well, I am a saver. I can save, I do save, I can invest, I do invest, and we're going to talk about it because, yeah, you know, what you say, what you think, determines, you know, your outcomes. So yeah, so I never used to be, hence
Yeah.
why I created the platform. But yeah, we'll get into that.
Well, don't give too much away just yet.
Yeah. How
Okay.
about you now?
What's that?
How about yourself?
Oh, yes, me too. I'm a saver. Yes, I am a saver. I'm good at saving money. Yes, I am.
Good, good.
My husband's on the live, so I have to say that. But yeah,
Yeah.
I am. I'm a saver. Okay. Would you rather have £1 million today in one go or £10,000 every day for the rest of your life?
Oh man, I'd say £10,000 every day for the rest of my life, and then I would invest it and grow it, essentially.
A
Yeah,
woman after my own heart, literally.
yeah,
That is like, I was thinking about that question, like, which one would I do? Would I rather? Part of me was like, no, I'll take the 1 million, yeah. But then the more I thought about it, I was like, no, actually, the £10,000 a day, I could probably grow it quicker to be more than 1 million. So yeah,
yeah,
I'm with you. I'm with
yeah.
you. Okay, physical books or audiobooks?
I'm an audiobook. I'm an audiobook through and through. Only because before lockdown with COVID, I'd be, you know, commuting to and from work. And I know you, obviously I'm sitting on the train, but still just something about just listening rather than kind of turning the pages and making notes. Not like that. And then also just the freedom of it. I can listen to an audiobook as I'm driving, as I'm
Yeah.
exercising. It just makes a lot more sense, basically, to me and my lifestyle. I mean, particularly now with Black Girl Finance
Super
and
busy.
working, yeah, I don't really get time. I should make time. You can make time, I guess, to kind of sit down and read a book. I need to pencil that in, but yeah.
Like that one is hard because I'm with you. I'm an audiobook. That's what I do at the moment. That's just because it works with my lifestyle right now. Obviously with the
Yeah,
kids and stuff, I'm always multitasking. So I'm listening to the audiobook while I'm
and
cooking
doing
dinner.
something. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. I have to make sure I have something. I'm doing something at the same time, so I don't have that
Absolutely.
free time to just sit down. But I really tried to make a conscious effort a couple of months ago to actually sit down and read one book. Didn't happen. I didn't make it to the end. Spent the whole month reading it. Managed like maybe a page here and a page there, but yeah, audiobooks all the way. Best
Yeah.
invention.
Yeah, I agree. I love it. I love it when I get my little notice to say that I've got one credit left. I've probably got about five now. They're all building up because yeah, just super busy at the moment. But yeah, I'll get back to it. I'll get back to
Yeah. And last one, sweet or savory?
I've got sweet tooth. I've always had a sweet tooth. Yeah, always. It's not good.
Yeah, that is me. I've got the feelings to prove it.
Not good.
Cool. That was a nice little icebreaker. I feel a lot more relaxed. I don't know about you. I feel a lot
I
more
do.
relaxed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, they're good questions. Good question. I feel like I know you better now.
Yeah, exactly. Same. Like we've got so much more in common than just
Yeah, we
finance. So
do.
yeah,
We do.
that's good. That's good. So in terms of the conversation topic, so why we've got everyone joining and the subject that we all want to know about, everyone's eager to hear what are money scripts. Please tell the people.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm gonna go back a little bit just because it ties in with why I actually created Black Girl Finance in the first place.
Yeah.
Money scripts are all of those unconscious thoughts that you tell yourself around money, and they can be quite limiting thoughts or disempowering thoughts, or they can be positive thoughts. And one of the reasons, it's not the only reason, but one of the reasons why I created Black Girl Finance was because I got to a stage whereby I was sick and tired of my own thoughts around money, and therefore my own conversations. So what I was actually verbalizing and saying constantly around money. So for example, I was always telling myself that I can't afford it. You know, I was always broke until payday. I can't save, I can't invest. And at that time, that was the reality. So yeah, and I essentially got sick of just my conversations around money, and realizing that they were so disempowering. So that was one of the reasons. And also another reason for creating Black Girl Finance, I should say, the more altruistic reason, was because if you read the statistics around how, you know, the BAME, I don't know that term, but the BAME community fares when it comes to money, kind of wealth, you know, when it comes to gender, so women and money, you know, there's obviously the gender pay gap, there's the ethnicity pay gap, there's a wealth gap, pensions gap, there's so many gaps, and I just wanted to do something as well. So it wasn't just purely just being fed up with my own conversations around money, it was those reasons as well. I wanted to create an organization to tackle that. But back to your original question, what are money mindsets? So essentially they are those thoughts and feelings that you tell yourself, probably on an unconscious level, around money, that you may have picked up when young, because there is some research that has shown that, you know, we pick up our money habits by the time we're age 7. So very, very young, very, extremely young. And, you know, we may pick them up from families, from grandparents. And then obviously as you get older, you pick them up from maybe your peers and colleagues and friends, etc. So those are those unconscious thoughts that do have an impact. There's been research that shows that they do have an impact on, you know, financial outcomes and, you know, debt and things like that. There's a really good, I'm going on now. There's a really good kind of psychologist that looks at money mindsets and money scripts called Dr. Brad Krantz. And I refer to him in an ebook that I've referred to him in some content that I put. I can't remember if it's the ebook or whatever, but I can type it in the chat just so that, you know, if you guys want to go away and research it, you can, because I think it's really important that we are aware of our mindset. So I'm just typing now. So if you look at YouTube, he's a psychologist that looks at money mindsets, basically.
Dr. Brad Krantz, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, take a look if you can. Not now, obviously, not whilst we're on live.
Not doing live.
Stay on the live. Yeah.
Stay on the live, guys. Okay. Okay, brilliant. Yeah, we'll definitely check him out. So in terms of money scripts, so you obviously explained to us what they are, which is fantastic. So what were some of the money scripts that you had, like when you were younger?
Yeah, so I think and I've obviously, you know, researched the topic and gone back, and also with a piece of content that I'm creating, I've gone all the way back and looking at how I thought and felt about money when I was very, very young. You know, obviously we start receiving pocket money. A lot of us do. I did when quite young. So maybe for me, it was around the age of 7 or 8. Also, you get money given to you, Christmas, birthdays, you know, family, friends. And when I was young, I would just obviously go to the shop and spend it. But then when I look back, I noticed that I was a bit of a hoarder with money. So for example, I would, if I got, you know, I would build up, you know, money that I got. So pocket money, birthday money, I'd hoard it for a long time. And maybe if there was an occasion as I got older, so maybe like now in my teens, then I might spend it. It'd have to be a very, very special person that I might buy a gift for. But I was very much a kind of hoarder of money. And I think that stems from my background. Is I grew up, my mum was amazing. She did an amazing job. She moved over here from the Caribbean. She worked really hard, raised her kids, got on the property ladder, worked night and day. But I think I was getting the messages from her that, you know, obviously money was tight. You know, just to say these money scripts might be based on actual reality, you know, actual circumstances that people go through. So it's not just, you know, I just started thinking this from nowhere. But, you know, her circumstances where she came from the Caribbean, had to establish herself, by herself as well, I should say. Very fortunate I had her to support me, but she had to establish herself. So she worked night and day job, night job. You know, money was tight. Went to school, had free school meals, you know, school uniform vouchers. You know, it was all, even though she shielded us because she didn't speak about money to us, so it wasn't like, oh, you know, don't ask me for anything, you can't ask me for anything, I'm broke. You would hear the traditional, money's not, you know, money doesn't grow on trees, what do you think, I'm made of money, you know, those types of things. Yeah, exactly. You know, am I made of money? And those are things I've got to stand as well. Those are things that I've found myself, particularly when I wasn't handling money in the best way, saying to my son as well, and money doesn't grow on trees, which way, where is money from, all that kind of stuff. But essentially, you know, money was tight for her as she was raising us. So I turned into a bit of a hoarder, because although she didn't speak about money, I could see and sense and feel. Plus, as well, we raised in the Catholic Church, and you know, there's Mother Teresa, and you know, she was, you know, vow of poverty. You know, there's it all goes to think. It makes you think, oh, you know, I don't want enough. You know, I can. You know, it's enough to have exactly. I'm from a Caribbean background too. Yeah, we don't talk about money, do you? You know, I hope that makes sense. I know I've rambled on a bit about that, but I think it's relevant. I mean, for yourself, Tolu, what was your experience growing up and your money skips? I don't know if you've thought about it or.
Oh, 100%. So since listening to your podcast, it started to make sense. I was like, okay, that's why I think the way I think. It's been in my subconscious mind from growing up. So things that weren't necessarily taught to me in conversation, but I learned them through observation. So it's like things that I picked up along the way from like seeing how my family are, and seeing, obviously, like what you're saying about, you know, money don't grow on trees, or there's a school trip. I wouldn't even bother asking, because I know I'm not. Like, I remember there was a secondary school trip to France, so all the kids were going. Like, everyone, literally, I think 90% of the class went, and I was one of the 10% that didn't even bother asking at that point. Because I had so many experiences where I've asked and my parents have said no, to the point that if they're saying no to like the trips in the UK, they're not sending me to France, so there's no point even asking. So that's
absolutely
what happened. So I was just seeing the comment, your religion sometimes make you feel negative. 100%, because exactly that as well, because obviously I grew up in a Christian household as well, and it was like, it's almost like, you know, there's scriptures and stuff that talks about the camel going, it's harder for a rich, it's basically saying about, basically it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich person to enter heaven. So it's like, when you hear scriptures like that, you take it out of context, you think, oh, I'm rich, I'm not going to make it to heaven. Now let me just, you know, be happy being poor, and, you know, so that's kind of the mentality that I grew up with. So it's like, you saying that, you know, making declarations like, I am going to be wealthy, or I'm going to prosper, it's almost like, you don't see kind of thing.
And being a woman as well, you know, you know, supposed to be like humble, or supposed to be
exactly like it's so like, even conversations that I've had with friends recently. So like, I've got a friend that was saying that she's gonna make £1 million this year. I remember when she said to me, I was like, okay, you're nuts. But then at the end of the day, there's people that have been able to do that in a year. Oh, I think you're back.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry, I've tapped my earphones.
Okay. I was like,
but you know, and it's, you're absolutely right with that point about your friend. You know, I've got a son, and he has been like, he's very entrepreneurial. I do speak about him a lot. Very entrepreneurial, and he has said to me from day dot, I want to be a millionaire. I'm going to be a millionaire, mum. I'm going to do it. And, you know, part of me had to kind of stop myself and be like, oh, you know, son, you need to be humble. I'm not saying don't be humble, but to have that goal, to, you know, we need to think big. We need to think bigger, you know.
Exactly. Why should we have such limiting beliefs about ourselves? It's like, the people that have done it, they don't have two heads, do you know what I mean? So it's like, yes, you can do it.
And there was a good book that I read that was from a religious perspective around money and wealth. Two of them. One was by you follow him. We follow him. He does the posts about, you know, debt free. I can't remember.
Well, Dave Ramsey.
Dave Ramsey. One was by Dave Ramsey, and it flipped the script on me from a kind of religious perspective. And there was another book. I can't remember what it was. I'll try and remember and maybe post about it. But there was another one as well. And at the end of the day, God wants us to prosper. You know, He wants us to, you know, prosper ourselves, and then we can give from our.
We can give exactly. then you can give and it won't be so begrudging because you can actually afford to do it kind of thing.
Exactly.
Giving
So
from a place of lack, you're giving from abundance kind of thing. No, it's so
exactly.
true. So I've seen a comment. It's amazing the messages parents send without realizing we get
Yeah.
those messages. Yeah, no, it's so true. That's what I'm saying. A lot of it is learned through
Yeah.
observation. Like literally, it's just like, okay, you know, that whole scarcity mindset, and you know, there's not enough. There's never
Yeah.
enough. Like kind of attitudes that I had and the money scripts that I had when it came to money growing up. So it's like it's a process trying to even anyway. I'm going too far into the
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Yeah, we can talk a lot about this.
well, yeah, exactly. No, because it's such an important conversation to have. Because I think, yeah, you want to pursue certain financial goals and do all these things, but if your mindset ain't right and you still don't believe, you actually don't believe you can do it, you're not actually going to be able to do it. So you're going to be your own stumbling block. And I know for myself, for example, this is a quite personal story, but that was my experience with my first business. It was like it was getting to the point that it was becoming successful to the point that I was like, oh no, this is too much for me. Why am I saying it's too much for me? Kind of actually like backed all the way back into a corner because it's like no, this is overwhelming. Like I didn't expect it to do this. So it's like almost like no, Tolly, why should you have all of this? And it's like no, why do I have the attitude? Like
why should you not? Yeah, why not, Tolly?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, it's actually crazy. So in terms of so obviously you said that you had all these different money scripts, and I've obviously talked about mine. So what for you was the turning point? Like how did you go from obviously having those views of money that you had to the place that you are now, kind of thing? What was the journey, and how did things change for you?
Yeah, so I think like I said, I mean, just back to that last point, I think one thing that's important is that we're different from our parents. Our experiences are completely different from our experiences. From their experiences, so we need to recognize that, you know, a lot of our, you know, I mean, myself with my son, trying to the next generation for him, make things easier for him, and the same was for my mum. You know, she laid the foundations for me, I laid the foundations for my son, and so on and so forth. So our circumstances are different, so we can't just kind of settle for those money scripts that we get from a completely different time, completely different circumstances, etc. So yeah, just go back to that point. To your question now, what was the change? I think number one was it was a combination of the two. One was actually hitting a bit of a rock bottom, and you know, another reason why I create Black Girl Finance, I want all women to talk about money, be comfortable talking about money, be comfortable saying the word money. Say it out loud now with me, ladies. Money, money. It's absolutely fine. Nothing happens. No lightning's going to strike you down. You know, we're okay. You know, we can talk about it. But you know, I was struggling with debt, and I've got a twin sister. I've got you know, an older sister. I used to live with my older sister. Actually, we bought a property together, and yet still, because I was taught kind of not to speak about money, I was going through that kind of debt situation by myself. So being upstairs in my bedroom, you know, dealing with debt, not answering phone calls or not opening letters because you're afraid to deal with it. And one day it just got to a point where I had to confront it. I had to speak to my creditor. There was nothing I could do. I had to do something. And the funny thing was, when I had that actual conversation, stopping avoiding, you know, dealing with the situation, I felt better. I felt at peace. When I, you know, sorted it out or sorted out a repayment plan, I felt so much better, to the point where I was thinking, well, why didn't I do that? I don't know, you know, a year ago, 3 months ago, you know. So I had to go through that painful process, that painful, you know, it could have been worse. I'm sure there are a lot of people that deal with a lot more debt than I probably had, but I had to reach that kind of rock bottom. And like I said earlier as well, so that was number one. So I had to deal with it, and just the release I felt when I actually took the step and dealt with it, I felt better. And then number two was just getting sick and tired of what I was saying about money. I got fed up of myself, Tolly. I was just like, Selina, shut up, you know. It was just like, stop it, will you? And then it just, I guess it took me on this whole journey, you know, reading, you know, Dave Ramsey book. Like I said, it flipped the script in terms of, you know, my kind of Christian beliefs and faith about money and all of that kind of stuff. And then just reading books around money mindset. So there's a book called, two books. One is called The Secret of a Millionaire Mind And obviously for some people it can be awkward to read the book with such a title as well. But if you read it, just read it, just accept it. And then also another book called You Are a Badass at Making Money as well.
Oh, I read that this year.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. It just allows you to just be like, do you know what? Let me claim it for myself and let me just take the action steps to do it. So so I guess it was hitting a rock bottom, getting fed up with my conversations with myself, and living kind of payday to payday. I knew that I had to get out of that cycle, and it just, because I started working, working my way up the career ladder, earning more and more money, but yet you're still in the same position because you're still doing that payday to payday cycle.
Exactly, like on a hamster wheel.
Yeah, and there's a reason why. It's not just happening because there's a reason why. You're getting a pay rise and all of a sudden you want a new fancy such and such to feel better about yourself.
Yes.
And that was why. There was a reason, and once I changed my mindset, it enabled me to actually do the work. So I do a budget, Selina. Just pick up a pen and paper if you must, and just write 2 columns, incomings, outgoings, and just see, or do a spreadsheet, or do an app, do something.
Yes, do something.
Do something.
100%. Could totally relate to that. Now that's really, really good that you actually were able to come to that realization that, I need to actually do something about this money situation. Because I know for a lot of us that we know that there is something, but we just ignore it because it's like we're managing, we're coping, we're able to get by. So it's fine.
That's it. You might borrow a little bit from a sister or a mum, a £20 here, £20 there, to see you through for the
balance
week.
it out, isn't it?
But that's
so long as I pay that shopping, then it's all good. Like it's fine. And I was pretty much same as you. In fact, it was probably when we ended up in so much debt that we realized that no, something needs to change with our whole money situation. Like, we can't continue doing this because we're going down a downward spiral, and it's only going to keep getting worse unless we actually address this thing. And I think the money mindset thing is like so key, and I think that's the missing piece that's the piece of puzzle that I was actually missing. So with me, I did all the work before actually looking at the mindset, if that makes sense. So I knew I needed to get out of there, and it's like I did all the action steps required to do that. But one thing I didn't do is look at the whole money mindset. Hi, MTD or MDD career coaching. Hello, just wait.
Hi.
So that's the one thing that I didn't do is actually look at the whole mindset aspect of it. That's why that podcast episode, I was like, wow, this is a topic that we need to discuss on this live, because
it's been the most popular topic. It's amazing, but I do think it's the most crucial. 100%.
It's like literally foundational. It's like that's the foundation piece. So it's like I started building, but it's like no, you need to actually lay the foundation. I think that is foundational. Is actually unlearning some of these money mindsets and money myths and views of money that we had before. I actually did that personality test that you recommended.
Cool.
Podcast was really, really good. It was like when I listened to the results or read the results, I was like, okay, there's still a lot of work to be done here, Tolu, but I'm getting there. But it's a really good test, actually, guys. I'll see if I can add the link to the personality test. In fact, what you can do is check out Selina's podcast and what episode number? I think it's 2 or 3 of the podcast.
I think it's number 3. I think there was a trailer, then an intro, and then it's number 2 or 3. But it's called money mindset.
Amazing episode. Just a few more questions, Selina, because I don't want to take up too much of your time. And then I said half an hour, but we're going to try.
It took me half an hour, didn't you know? I thought it was till 9. I didn't realise. I talk too much. That's the thing.
I'll join the club. I'm a chatterbox too, so. I love to have conversations, especially these kind of conversations, because they don't happen often enough. And I was on the pre-introduction before you actually came on. I don't know if you saw it, but I was just saying how amazing your event was. Like, literally, we need more events like that. It's such a shame.
Thank you. Honestly.
More, because I was literally, after that event, I was telling everybody about it, like, no, you don't need to go to the next Black Girl Finance.
Bless you.
It was just such a refreshing experience. Like, these money conversations, we don't have them yet. All of us are doing our own things financially, and it's like I might have the information that can help you, and vice versa. But if we're not talking, how are we going to know? So it was like so good to be in that room and hear everybody's different stories, and just connect with like-minded people and really realize that, oh, okay, I'm not the only one that's gone through this, or I'm not the only one going through that. I'm not abnormal. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
absolutely. I mean, I was so inspired by your story, and obviously you're going to be coming onto the podcast. So guys, you need to listen to the podcast. We haven't recorded it yet, but we're going to record one with Tolu. She's going to be talking about her, debt repayment journey, however you want to call it. But because I was so inspired, and for me, like I said, it's not just about, okay, you're struggling with debt. Well, it's not just about, okay, we're just going to talk about, people winning with money. It's about celebrating the wins and also supporting, the struggles. So
exactly.
I thought I wanted to share it'd be amazing to share your journey as well. So.
Yeah, 100%, because I'm still very much on my journey now. It's like, okay, yes, we paid off our debt, but we still got this mortgage that we're trying to clear. I'm now unemployed, so it's like the financial journey is literally a journey. So as I'm on my journey, I want to help inspire other people in the same way you've been able to do, because I think it's amazing. I think it's just so needed. And it's so funny that I didn't even realize accounts like yours even existed before I started my journey. So that's why I wanted to actually start doing these lives, to bring people like yourself on to actually have these conversations, because there's so many people that are doing amazing things in the personal finance space that are really helping, offering this education, offering this support. So it's like, you don't have to go through these things alone. So if you are in debt, or you just want help with your budget, like all these things, there's so many resources and so many people that are actually willing to help you. Like, you just have to do the research kind of thing and look for who's there. So definitely keep doing what you're doing. It's actually amazing. But another question I had, sorry, I keep looking away from the screen at my laptop. I don't have them in my memory. But so this is a question, I don't know how much you want to go into, but it's basically wanted to ask. So since obviously you've changed your money script and you now have a whole new view on money, and you're on a new journey, how has your finances changed, or what's been the impact on your financial situation, like, since you changed your money script?
So completely transformed. And number one, again, reading the books.
Yes.
The first thing and the key, and I always bang on about it on my IG lives every week just before payday, every month just before payday. I'm like, you guys need to pay yourself first. And that was one of the habits that I didn't do. So, payday would come, and obviously I'm always going to pay my mortgage, my rent, my, essential bills, things that need to be paid. But then there needs to be an element of money that you save for yourself. And that's, it's something that we don't do. It's like we're conditioned to kind of pay things back. And I don't know, it's because we go to uni, we get student loans straight away, and then also you might go and get an overdraft straight away. So you're kind of conditioned to work and then just pay. You go out of uni and you're just paying things back.
Everyone else is getting paid,
you're just paying things back, and then you continue that as we get on the property ladder, as we get a car, or we're in this cycle of just of owing, and then we don't ever stop and think, do you know what, I need to save some money for myself. And I'm not just talking about for long term and pensions, I'm talking about for right now. So in answer to your question, what it has enabled me to do is get rid of that anxiety around living payday to payday, or being short just before payday. Get rid of that completely. It means I'm more in control, number one. It means, well, number two. Number three, if there's an opportunity keep trying to count. If there's an opportunity that arises that I want to take, I'm not thinking to myself, okay, I'm going to wait until I get paid on payday to pay for it. And I don't like that mentality, kind of wait until payday to already spend the money that you've not yet earned. So I kind of loathe that, because maybe it was because I was in that kind of cycle for such a long time. I'm already thinking about what I'm going to buy before money's even been in my account. So by the time I get paid, a third of that money's gone on something that I was coveting from last month.
Exactly. Things that were in your Amazon basket that you say waiting for payday so that you can click purchase.
So it was just a vicious cycle. So so it allows me to have opportunity. So I've got an emergency fund. I have savings, able to save into a workplace pension, properly able to invest, properly able to pivot. So Black Girl Finance is something I've been doing alongside working full time for the past just over a year, or year and a half now, actually, when I worked it out, when I actually launched the website, and being able to pivot and retrain. And that's something that I had on, in a notepad that I had down, save this amount so that I can retrain. And it's something that I'm actually able to do,
Amazing.
It's something that I've, just to be able to take opportunities, be able to kind of train. I've been doing loads and loads of courses, like over the last few, probably since the beginning of the year. For example, I did a web design course before I launched the website. This is back in 2018.
Oh wow!
I did web design. I'm not a coder. I'm not very good at it.
You designed it as website yourself?
I built the website myself. Yeah. But that's because I'm impatient. I'm like, okay, I want to do something. I was going to wait for my brother-in-law. He's an amazing, tech UX person, amazing tech guy, and he was going to do it for me. But there was a day that I just decided I wanted to launch, and because I'd done that course, taking the time to do that course, find out a little bit about HTML and CSS. Although I don't use it, you don't need it with these websites these days. But that's another story. I was able to just do that course and then create the website. What other course? I've done an angel investing course recently. Oh, wow. I've got a business mastermind. And if I didn't have that habit of paying myself first and truly doing that, doubling down on that, I wouldn't be able to take these opportunities. I wouldn't be able to say, okay, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to kind of stop working and pivot and study and, launch the website and really go full time with the business. I wouldn't be able to do that if I hadn't have switched up my mindset and switched up my habits. So that
amazing. And I guess it's the control, isn't it? The fact that you now have control and peace of mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Being able to help.
Sorry.
Being able to help family, help friends, and genuinely help, and not help in a way whereby I'm taking away from myself to help.
Yes. But, or you're feeling bad about, you're begrudging them because you've given them that money because you need it for something. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it's a real 360. I'm not going to sit on here and be like, I'm a millionaire, guys. I'm loaded. I'm all about my truth. I tell you the truth. But it's allowed me to take opportunities, and it's allowed me to support and help. If people ask me for help, 10 years ago, no chance I'd be asking you for help.
I'm barely helping myself, mate. Sorry.
Yeah. So
that's amazing. That is actually amazing. Very encouraging as well, just to know that just by putting in that work and committing yourself to making a change to your finances, you've been able to transform things to the point that you have an emergency fund. I'm sure a few years ago you was like, what is an emergency fund?
There was a I'm gonna spend.
What's that?
There was payday comes and that's it. It's all gone. It's all gone on what I planned for last month to buy.
Yes.
So it was an emergency fund.
Yeah, no, totally understand. But no, that's amazing. Well done for doing all of that. Okay, so in terms of all of these guys that are here on the live, thank you guys for all still sticking around, by the way. If you have any questions or any comments, leave them in the question box and we'll definitely get around to it at the end or towards the end, or we can get around to it now, to be fair. But yeah, if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below or in the question box. There's a little question mark at the bottom. So yeah, just submit your questions there and I can fire them away to Selina. But just in terms of the ladies and gentlemen, I know it's Black Girl Finance, but we have a few guys in the room too, and I'm sure they can benefit from your help too. So in terms of, do you have any tips for us guys and everybody that's here on ways to basically identify our money scripts and then also overcome them? So what can they do? What practical steps or what practical things that can they do to actually help with their money scripts, identify them and work through them?
I would just say it's just think about how you feel. I mean, depending on, obviously, some people employed, some people self-employed, some people, a bit more flexible. Just think about how you feel on payday. Have a think about it. I know that I used to be in that cycle of being really excited for payday, really, really super excited for payday. That's because I was struggling like two weeks before payday, and that's not a good situation to be in.
Yeah.
Also, just think about what you tell yourself. What are those money messages? So it could just be things like recognizing, if you're telling yourself that you're broke all the time, that you can't do the maths, that you can't budget, that you can't invest, you can't save.
Yeah.
What are those thoughts going through your mind? What are those things that you're verbalizing to your friends? So for example, if, Tolu said to me today, oh, Selina, do you want to go and, do X, Y, Z? Am I instantly going to say, oh, I'm broke until payday? Or am I instantly thinking, I'm just broke? No, I can't. And how does that make you feel? And so I would say just taking the time to actually stop and listen to those thoughts that go on in your mind, and maybe listing down the top 3 thoughts that come to mind around it. Definitely take the time, number 1. Number 2, try and figure out where those thoughts originate from. You know, is it something that your parents would say to you, or is it just the vibe that you got from, you know, the household and kind of how you lived and how you grew up? Is it something that you picked up from friends along the way? Or, you know, I mean, when I think about when I actually started working, the circle that I worked in, it wasn't unusual to say, oh, you know, I can't afford it, I have to wait till payday. Having that kind of, I think you know, it's very natural to be at a workplace and being, you know, having conversation. But then if you notice, there will always be someone that doesn't care about payday. And there's always that one person that you're like, oh yeah, it's payday, oh, I can't wait to it. And there's one annoying person, and that's because they're not thinking about it. They don't have stresses. Yes. And
how can you not know it's payday?
So funny. One of my colleagues was like that, and I remember thinking, I want to be like you. You know, what are you doing? I want to have that kind of relaxed mind. You know. So yeah, just examine the thoughts. You know, think about where they originate, where those messages have been picked up, and then just think about what you can say to counterbalance them, to counteract them, I think it's the right word. So, you know, if you're constantly thinking you can't afford it, you know, maybe you need to, and also do a stock take, do a budget. You know, we all think that we can't afford things, it's impossible, and so on and so forth. You need to really do that budget and look at your ingoings and your incomings and outgoings. And then if there is a gap, you need to think about ways to bridge that gap. That kind of, you know, I think the workshop that you came to had a section around side hustles.
Yes, it did. Very good section.
There was a brief section around side hustles, and I mean, in this day and age, we live in a time whereby you can, you know, go and do a lot of things without having to you know, take a lot of time to retrain and be qualified and all of that kind of stuff. You know, we live in the gig economy.
Yes.
And you know, if you look around, those giggers are still going. You know, the likes of the Amazon deliveries. You know, Amazon recruiting. You know, Tesco's recruiting. You know, have a think about things that you can do if you've got a talent or a skill that you can perhaps monetize. Have a think about it. You know, you got to try and bridge the gap. So there's, you know, either increase your income or see where there's areas where you can cut back. And again, that all is possible by knowing your numbers and looking at the doing your budget. You know, what subscriptions. I did recorded a podcast today actually before this, and one of the suggestions was kind of looking through your budget just to see those subscriptions that are going on that you don't need. Get rid of them. That's a saving. I mean, one of the things that I did, I'm sorry to talk constantly, Tolly.
No, keep going.
I mean, one of the things that I did when I did the initial budget and looked at the budget was I used to take the train to work. Obviously, train is more expensive than bus, and for a period of time, I sacrificed. I just, you know, didn't take the train. So I used to get up early. That's probably when I got into the audiobooks, listen to my audiobooks on the way on my extended journey to work. But that allowed me, like I said, to get into the habit of saving, that allowed me to get into the habit of investing. So for me, that period of time where I had to change what I was doing in order to, you know, have extra income, essentially, it was totally worth it. It was if I didn't have that period of maybe, you know, doing a stock take, making a change. And that's the thing, is we have to make the changes as well. It's one thing to kind of read about it and think about it.
That's the thing. You have to apply that knowledge, isn't it? Yeah,
you have to apply that knowledge. And I had to sacrifice, and I'm happy that I did, because, you know, fast forward 10 years,
amazing.
I've got a lot better money habits, essentially. Yeah.
No, definitely. It's worth it, just making those little sacrifices, like you said, because like with us, one of the things that we sacrificed a lot, or made a lot of cutbacks was our food budget. Because that was one area that we was definitely able to make savings on. Because before, shopping at Tesco, we used to do the online delivery, get the food delivered to the house. But when we started realizing we need to clear this step, it's like, nah, man, I can't be paying for someone to be dropping my shopping at my house. Let me just carry myself to Aldi and go shopping there. And just by doing, I literally managed to shave off £100 from our food shop every single month just by that.
That's the thing. And these amounts, they might seem small. I mean, look at I'm going to pronounce your name. I'm so sorry, Mr. JP. You mentioned about saving £135 every month. That is over £1,000 at the end of the year. And the same for you. It's over £1,000, and you can be investing that money. You can be saving that so you can retrain.
Exactly, paying off your debt. Like, there's so much you can do with that kind of saving. But that's the thing, we don't make that conscious effort to actually, number one, like track all our expenses and realize where all our money's going. Then we won't realize the fact that, oh, actually, I say I have no money, but that's not actually true. I'm just maybe not doing the best that I can do with the money that I actually have. And that was definitely the story with us. So, like I was saying about us saving money in the food, we've saved money in so many areas. It's unbelievable. It's like our income, obviously now I'm not working, I was made redundant, so our income is almost halved, but it's like we have more money now than we had when we were both working full time.
Exactly. And and that's it. It's not about how much money you earn necessarily,
it's how much you
keep. And it may sound a bit wishy, but it's the absolute truth.
It's so true.
Absolute truth. There are people that are, 100,000 more than that, and they are spending 100,000.
Yeah.
That doesn't give you peace of mind. That doesn't allow you to have any other opportunity other than paying back debt. So absolutely.
And it all goes back to this whole money mindset that we were talking about, isn't it? Because a lot of that, our spending behaviors, is a result of our view of money. So like for a lot of us, we grew up with scarcity, isn't it? So it's like, like me, for example, my parents bought me a pair of Reebok Classics in year 7. When I tell you the way I treasured those Reebok Classics, they were black. I'll never forget them. They were my first name branded trainers, and I looked after those things like you wouldn't believe. I wore them from year 7 to like year 10 or something until they got so small for me. They didn't. My clothes were all curled up at the front, but I still wore those trainers, and I loved them. But that's how I grew up. So it's like, because it's like nice things like that, I didn't have it as much. So then obviously when I started working and I had money to buy my nice things, I bought everything. I was everything. It's like
absolutely.
And it's because I feel like, no, I need to spend this money because who knows, tomorrow I won't have money again. And it's like, it took a lot of unlearning to realize that, no, you don't need to spend all the money that you have.
And that's it. And I'm not saying just, you should, if you're doing a budget, you should include some money for fun. That's another kind of misconception about kind of budgeting. A little bit for fun. We're not saying don't do the stuff that you like, don't plan for the
in moderation.
How can you how can I fit this in? I want to do X, how can I make this happen? And it might mean, saving up for a couple of months. Nothing wrong with that. It's when I look back on the things that were on my credit card, and I don't know if I spoke about it, I know that I think about it a lot. There was one holiday that I went on, and it just wasn't properly planned. So we ended up getting to the country, and we realized that the journey from the airport that we landed at to the hotel was just completely far. I had my credit card on me. I was like, I'm just gonna do that. I just put on my credit card, and then just balling without no plan of how I was gonna pay that credit card back. And I'm talking more than just the minimum payment, because if you just pay that minimum payment, and I think I put a post about it, how long it will take if you just pay minimum payment to pay things back. When I think about the things that I put on my credit card, bra, shopping, not feeling good emotionally, so just going to the shop and buying sexy underwear, just random stuff on my credit card. It's not good. When I think back, I'm like, what were you doing?
No,
I don't do that anymore.
No. But like you said, and I'm so happy you said that, because I don't want people to go away from here thinking, oh, no, allow it. I'm not about that life. This budget life. You can't even enjoy those fun. You're just saving and paying off debt. Like, no, definitely moderation is important. So definitely you can enjoy, but it's just giving yourself a budget, isn't it? So allowing fun money. but then also prioritizing other things too. And yeah, it's just a balance, isn't it? It's a balance, which before I never had. It's like once I paid all my bills, the money left.
Spend, it's gone. It's gone. It's gone.
That's it.
Yeah.
So no, definitely. That's really, really insightful. So guys, I don't know if you have any questions for us. No questions in the question box. Don't think. No questions in the question box. Okay. Gosh, I've lost my script. I've lost my question sheet. 1 second. Sorry. So I think we've covered a lot of it as well. A lot of my questions. 1 second. Just want to make sure. I don't want you to go and I'm like, oh no, I wanted to ask you about it. Okay, yeah. So on the podcast, the episode that I keep talking about, the amazing one about money scripts, there was one thing you was talking about in terms of the relationship between your goals and was it between your goals and thoughts? That was it. Yeah. So between your goals and thoughts, and I wanted you to basically explain a bit more about that bit. So it was like you were talking about basically how our thoughts affect the goals we set, or our goals are about thoughts.
Well, I think it's just, like it's maybe I made it sound more fancy than it is, but it's literally, as a man thinketh, so he does. I think I might have quoted that on the podcast. I don't remember. I've done a few since that one.
Yeah.
But I mean, and there's a I think it's a Tony Robbins quote that says, the journey between your goal and your destination is your thoughts. It's so powerful, and I guess at that point was just about making sure you're aware of your thoughts and making sure that you manage them, because at the end of the day, we will have these thoughts in our mind that were picked up from childhood, and we might just take them as gospel, as the truth. And actually, a lot of the time, it's not the truth. It's not the situation. When people say, it's not the situation itself, it's how you react to it. It's a similar thing. It's what you think about it. So we need to be mindful of the thoughts. And then I guess that point was just to be intentional with your actions so that you can get to your goal. Are the two aligning? So, for example, if I was constantly thinking I can't save, if I'm constantly saying I can't save, my actions are likely to be not saving, because I probably won't take the time to sit down and do the budget if I just instantly think in my head I can't save, and that's it. That's the thought. I don't question it. I don't challenge it. When you challenge it, when you sit down and do the work, that's when you can figure out that, well, actually I can save. I just need to stop spending on Netflix or this $9.99 direct debit that's coming out for the
exactly. That you still subscribe to,
for the insurance on my laptop that's broken that I don't use anymore, that I set up 10 years ago. Do you know what I mean? It's things like that.
No, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, habits to stop overspending, Jan.
I was going to say, there's a question.
I would say just kind of resist temptation. There's a good book called Atomic Habit, and he talks about the fact that we always try and force to not do something, whereas perhaps the best way to handle that, or it's shown that the best way to do things is to, put yourself in the best possible situation to achieve that habit. So, i.e., if when I used to be subscribed to Topshop and Zara and all those kind of email campaigns from all of the retailers, what I would end up doing is, email comes through, I click on it, and then I start browsing. Then I start spending. So I had to cancel all of those unsubscribe to those shopping newsletters, because the habit was, it comes in, I start scrolling, I start shopping. I needed to stop that, and I don't have any kind of email. So just managing your environment so that you're not tempted, basically, rather than putting yourself in an environment where you are tempted and then trying to resist.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the issue, isn't it? When you make it so difficult, be realistic with yourself, and be kind to yourself. It's like, what your triggers are. So things like shopping when you're hungry, it's like, you're going to end up putting food in the basket because you're hungry. And then even things like, for me, one thing that helped me a lot actually was starting to use cash. So food shopping especially, I did a post the other day actually when I went Primark, and I just took £80 with me cash, and it's like, when that money's done, I have to go home. Whereas before, to say, no, I'm only going to take £100, but I put my card on it. So it's like when you get to the table and it's £110, you just have to pay that money because you can't just now start putting things back.
Yeah,
When there's
yeah.
option, you have to stick to that budget that you've allocated yourself. So I think that definitely helps.
And we get sucked into a false sense of, oh, it's only a small amount. Like going to Primark is Primark was Primarni used to be, the place to go to get your cheap stuff. Yeah, used to be the place to go, you get your cheap stuff. Now, you go there, they've got some expensive, well, not expensive, but you know what I mean. It's quite expensive considering it's, it used to be a place whereby you just pick up your little bits and it doesn't cost that much. Now it's, you go there, you pick up loads, and like you said, you go there with the intention of buying one thing, and there's just so much to tempt you, and it's that those small amounts. People talk about those small leaks.
No, definitely, exactly. There was a quote about that, isn't it? Little leaks sink ships or something like that. Yeah, absolutely. So it's so true.
And it could be the reverse as well. Sorry, and it could be the reverse. Those small amounts that you're actually adding up and saving and saving and saving builds up. And
that's it. You don't think it does, but it does.
Yeah,
it grows and gives you an opportunity to, definitely.
Yeah. So how do you stay encouraged when trading and seeing money just disappear with no real return?
I don't trade.
I invest, and I invest regularly. And the reason why I decided to invest regularly and number one, it should be an amount that you are okay with spending and okay with potentially losing, because the thing about trading and investing is that there's always a risk. There's no guarantee that the money that you put in, you're going to get back out, or you're going to get an increase, or, there is no guarantee. So number one, you have to understand that and be comfortable with that fact. And then number two, so just the amount that you invest in the first place. Can it be an amount that you're okay to invest and just forget about?
Yes.
Number two, are you in it for the long term? Because results show that, the longer you invest for, the more you benefit from, number one, compound interest, which is earning interest on interest on interest. And then number two, the volatility. If we look at this period of time, the stock market is very volatile, and there's a number of different things that you can do. You have to be, diversification, so spreading out different sectors, different maybe asset classes. Also, what else was I going to say? There's a way of investing whereby called pound cost averaging or dollar cost averaging, whereby you continuously put in those small amounts, and that allows you to buy when the markets are low. So buy more when the price is low, and then buy less when the price is high. And that way you're kind of managing that volatility in the market. So there's a strategy. If you are someone that's going to be looking at your investment accounts every single day and being disheartened because the money's gone and perhaps you can't afford to invest regularly and often, then maybe you need to think about whether or not it's the best time to invest. That's what I would say about investing. If you're really disappointed because the market's gone down, maybe your risk appetite for investing, maybe it's not there just yet, if that makes sense. It's not for everybody, I would say. And if you're stressed because you can't afford it, then that's maybe, again, it's not the right time to be investing. Maybe you need to have an emergency fund, make sure you're saving, etc., and make sure you've got that extra that you can afford to invest without it stressing you out.
I was like, did it just cut out? No.
It might do though, innit? It's only an hour on Instagram Live.
We only have 2 minutes left. Okay, so no more questions. I don't think there's no more questions, which is perfect. So just quickly before it cuts us out, because I want to finish before it cuts out, because sometimes it cuts out and you can't save the live. So
okay.
Just to summarize, tell the people where they can find you and all the amazing things that you've got coming up.
Yeah, so my Instagram account, so pause there, Black Girl Finance UK. Oh my gosh, I'm forgetting. And then the website is www.blackgirlfinance.co.uk. If you look for Black Girl Finance on Spotify or iTunes podcasts, there's a podcast. And then just putting out content every day. If you follow me on Instagram,
great content.
Gonna be looking to do more events, and there's loads of things coming. It's quite an exciting time for Black Girl Finance, I would say. So just follow me if you don't already. You know, I do coaching, so you can book a call, etc. Just, you know, follow basically and find out what I'm doing that way.
Brilliant, brilliant. Thank you so much for joining me on this live, Selina. I really appreciate it. Appreciate you believing in the vision, like agreeing to be one of my first guests. Absolutely amazing. So I won't forget
love
this.
What you
Thank you
do,
so much. And just quickly, for everyone that's still here on the live, just to let you guys know that I actually created, what was that? I'm subscribed to, oh, brilliant. Very smart move, Mr. CJP. He subscribed to the podcast. It's a really good podcast. But I've actually created a PDF doc with daily affirmations, so money affirmations, basically to help with your mindset about money.
Yes.
I didn't copy it, so I can't paste it right here into the comment section like I did last week. So what I'm going to do is actually include it in my bio. So it's basically 25 money affirmations to kind of help you guys with your money script. So if you have had negative money scripts like I did, this basically will help you with your money script. So you just say these affirmations to yourself daily kind of thing, so that you can encourage yourself to basically see money in a more positive way. But I've got 18 seconds remaining. So thank you all for joining this live. Thank you, Selina, for being an amazing guest, being such a big help to everybody. Really appreciate it. And thank you guys for joining. And we'll be back next week with Tasha from No Cakes Are Better. See you guys.
Bye.